Hello everyone, welcome back to my channel. This is Alex of Coyote Astrology, and this is my video for the full moon in Libra coming in on April 5th, 2023, which is a Wednesday in California. However, please do adjust for your current location on the planet as that time and date may change. And it's actually going to change for me because I'm not in California, I am in Bali. And on that note, the audio for this video is probably not going to be as good as it normally is. I just had my microphone break on me. I think it actually might have broke on the flight over here. So that's a bummer. I think there will be like 2 more videos where I don't have that unless I can find a good one here. So it is what it is. I'll do what I can in editing. Hopefully it's not too echoey. I'm sitting right by a window, so you might hear some nice birds. I don't know. We have a lot to talk about today. We've got a full moon in Libra with some very interesting relationship themes for sure. We also have an incoming Mercury retrograde that I'm really excited to talk about. This is a very potent Mercury retrograde, so make sure to stick around. This Mercury retrograde is hitting the nodal axis, so there's going to be some real potential to utilize this Mercury retrograde for some pretty awesome quantum leaps forward, as well as with bringing in some new financial stability because it is a retrograde in Taurus. So excited to talk about that. Real quick announcement. I now have the Natal Chart 101 course available on my website that I taught live a couple of weeks ago. So if you weren't able to attend that live, you can now purchase it on my website. Head on over to coyotestarastrology.com, and under courses, you can find the link to reach out to me to purchase that. All right, so let's dive in. We have a full moon in Libra at 16 degrees in opposition to the sun in Aries, and you can see that the sun is conjunct the planet Jupiter. So we've got a lot of Aries energy right away that kind of fires up this full moon, and the full moon is in Libra, which, as most of us know by now, has a lot to do with our relationships, our interpersonal relationships in general. So obviously this can have a heavy emphasis on romantic relationships, but it can also be our friendships, our business relationships, anyone that is serving to be a mirror for a lesson. That's what Libra is all about. Libra is the scales where we are always seeking balance. And I think that a lot of people assume that Libra is naturally balanced, or that a Libra full moon might have us feeling balanced. It's actually usually the opposite. Libra is where we are seeking balance, and this essentially means that there is a lack of balance somewhere, and we're trying to come back into harmony. So within lessons around relationships, Libra is always looking for balance within the give and take. So that can be within how much am I giving, how much am I receiving in my relationships. This can also be around balancing the needs that we have ourselves personally, meaning our own core needs or points of view versus the core needs or points of view of another. So the Libra-Aries axis is, of course, going to point out the polarity that can often exist between the two. I have my point of view, I have my needs, you have yours. How are we gonna find equilibrium or a diplomatic place where we can feel harmonious in between? So this is a full moon that definitely suggests there's going to be a lot of seeking harmony in relationships. But I must say there is an element when we go to our tarot cards associated with this full moon that for some people that balance may be hard to find. And this might actually be a full moon, especially because full moons are about releasing building energy, where some people do separate from certain relationships. So let's take a look at those cards now. The card associated with the second decan of Libra, which is where we have our moon, of course, is this card right here. I actually love this image so much. It's actually one of my favorite cards of this deck. For those of you that are interested, I use the Heavenly Bloom Tarot, which I will link in the description box. I love this artist. So here we have the Three of Swords. Beautiful art, Very intense card that definitely doesn't look very peaceful, right? So this is the Three of Swords card. It is often associated with emotional pain, sorrow, grief, even heartbreak. This can be pain from words, actions. This is just a card about emotional hurt and a potential emotional release. And it can definitely represent some kind of division. Now, when we look at our other card, which is the Three of Wands, which is associated with the second decan of Aries, which is where we find the sun polarizing the moon for our full moon. The Three of Wands is a completely different energy. This is a card that represents progress and opportunities, potential travel. It's a card very much associated with like looking out at expansive new horizons. I think that's what the artist was conveying here with this beautiful woman who's in this pose, looking off into the distance, looking very strong, somewhat positive and excited. This is about venturing into the unknown and definitely about expansion and growth and looking ahead. So the two cards together to me are definitely suggesting that a lot of people will be working out some heavy things in relationships while simultaneously feeling a sense of expansion and growth that might have them outgrowing certain relationships, dynamics, and situations. They might be feeling called outside of them, particularly around aspects of relationships or dynamics that are unhealthy or that are bringing a sense of instability and grief into our life. So heading back to our chart here, I did just want to point out that we're very much still in this sort of Chironic healing portal. Chiron is still very close to Jupiter, and the sun during this full moon is actually conjunct Chiron. So Chiron, the wounded healer, which always has a sense of, yes, healing, but also this sort of raw tenderness around it. Chiron is very much a part of this as well. It's also exactly in opposition, of course, to the moon in Libra. So there is a real sense that we can be doing healing in our relationships. I do feel that, especially if both parties are willing to come to the table with a sense of diplomacy and an ability to be pragmatic, see the other point of view, find a meeting point in the middle. There could be some healing words shared. However, if one or both parties is not willing to do that healing work, then we may see some of that Three of Swords energy dominating the experience, and we may see two people that are at least temporarily going separate ways as they seek new horizons. And Libra, again, this is where we're seeking balance and harmony in our life in general. So we may be feeling that about certain situations in general, looking at our living situation, looking at our career, looking at that cardinal axis of Aries, Cancer, Libra, Capricorn, hitting all the bases and really looking at what is ready to be released so that we can head in new expansive directions. And on that note, let's check out this incoming Mercury retrograde. This is going to be a very important one, you guys, as I said. So I would definitely get a pen and paper out so you can take these dates down, so you can bend in harmony with this transit, because I do feel that there is a lot to be gained from this one if we utilize it in the right way. So I'm actually going to take off the full moon chart, come on over to current transits. And let's take a look at this. So pre-shadow has actually not started yet. Pre-shadow will begin as soon as Mercury hits 5 degrees. So here's Mercury at 5 degrees. This is going to happen on April 6th, Pacific Standard Time, which looks like that's a Thursday. So what we notice on April 6th, as soon as Mercury hits pre-shadow, is that Mercury, when Mercury starts to walk into pre-shadow, is right at the North Node. So for anybody that needs a review, pre-shadow is when a planet starts to wade through the degrees that it will be walking through during its retrograde course. So although the planet is not technically retrograde yet, we're seeing the building of the themes. And as many of you may know by now, Pre-shadows can be just as potent, if not more potent, than the retrograde itself. So definitely be paying attention to pre-shadow, particularly this one. And that is because Mercury is at the North Node. So what we know with Mercury in that position is that this reflective and reorienting period, which is what a retrograde is always about. We know this, retrogrades are about slowing down, gathering more information before signing contracts, reconsidering, and revising. The fact that Mercury is doing this revision around the North Node, which is about a new evolutionary quantum leap, we know that this retrograde can be a powerful opportunity to revise something in order to make a quantum leap when Mercury goes direct. So you can see why this is a potent retrograde right off the bat. Simultaneously, we have the themes around Taurus being highlighted. And Taurus is something that we all desperately want right now. Why? Because Pluto is squaring the South Node in Scorpio. So that would be the antithesis or the polarity to Taurus. So just trust me, if you are struggling financially out there, if you are having difficulty finding stability in your financial world, if things are feeling scarce, bleak, or scary in that region of life, you are not alone. That is the South Node Scorpio. If you are dealing with shadow work, such as addiction, manipulation, or power dynamics in relationships, self-sabotaging thoughts, you are also not alone. That is the South Node Scorpio being highlighted by Pluto in a not so favorable way. This retrograde and revision process is happening across from that at the North Node, i.e. your exit strategy, your way out of this. So you really, really want to be paying attention to this retrograde because you can use it to catapult yourself out of that South Node Scorpio hell realm, whatever that is for you individually. For some people, this isn't so bad. This is just a minor transformative process, depends on how it's hitting their chart. For other people right now, they are really, really going through it. Trust me, okay? So here we are on April 6th, the pre-shadow begins. Let's follow Mercury to its retrograde station, which is going to be, I believe, on the 20th. Yes, 21st, my bad. Okay, April 21st, Mercury actually goes retrograde. So your pre-shadow dates are April 7th to April 21st. That is where you are seeing the building themes trickle into your life. So be paying attention to new ideas that you might have around leveling up financially. This may come in the form of a test or a challenge because of the South Node element to this. Be paying attention to anything that represents new growth. The North Node is always taking us into an entirely different reality. And because Mercury stations retrograde right here close to Uranus, only 2 degrees away, there's likely something innovative about this change that you may be prompted to make, meaning something a little bit cutting edge for you, something you've never done before, something that might feel fresh, new, trailblazing, that kind of Uranian quantum leap energy. When Mercury stations retrograde on April 21st, we are officially in retrograde time. This is where we are supposed to slow down, plan, envision, get our ducks in a row, reconsider. Of course, this can also be where communication starts to go a bit haywire. This can be where electronics start to malfunction. I'm, for whatever freaking reason, already seeing that happen to me, and the really unfortunate context of being overseas. It's not fun. Yeah, important. I know I say this all the time, but it is really important, and I see people do it a lot, and they always regret it. Do not sign contracts if you can help it during a Mercury retrograde. I understand sometimes we have to do what we have to do. Obviously, if you're in like a life or death situation and you need to sign a contract, please do it. But if you can hang tight and wait, do. And if you do have to sign a contract during a Mercury retrograde, if you do have to make some kind of a commitment, just kind of know that it's coming with a little bit of a warning label that later down the road, something about that situation might not exactly be what you thought it was, and just be okay with that. I've had to do it. You know, I've had to move into places during a Mercury retrograde, and lo and behold, when Mercury goes direct, I always find something out, like the freaking plumbing doesn't work or something like that. And you just have to kind of smile and be like, well, there's my retrograde moment, right? So I digress. As of April 21st, we're in the retrograde. Let's continue to watch Mercury move forward until Mercury stations direct, which is, of course, what we really want to know. Mercury will station direct back where Mercury entered pre-shadow, back there at 5 degrees. So right around here, those will be some potent days right there, right around the 15th. Let's see exactly what day. Okay, Mercury goes direct on May 14th, Pacific Standard Time. So when Mercury goes direct, this is where we can breathe a sigh of relief, and it's where we usually start to see things move forward. This is where we can have that sort of like launch energy where we pull triggers, green light go, things start to clarify and resolve. With this Mercury station direct, this is going to have somewhat of like a slingshot effect, because when Mercury goes direct here at the North Node right here, imagine all of this cumulative energy from the South Node swinging forward with that direct movement. So you're going to see a lot of people around that Mercury station direct moment sever from things that represent the South Node in Scorpio, which of course can be positive, but can also be intense, because along with that is going to come all the situations that would contribute to somebody severing from a dynamic or a situation, right? So it's a very intense sort of buildup to this direct station, I won't lie. But again, lots of potential here. This is a great time, this whole retrograde, to do revising around any project or vision that could bring in a renewed sense of financial stability. I can't stress that enough. So post-shadow, let's talk about post-shadow, and then I want to tell you about another really exciting aspect of all this. So Mercury will be in post-shadow until, honestly, the end of the month. That will be until May 31st exactly, I think. Yes, May 31st, post-shadow is complete. So if you can, always good to wait until post-shadow is done. It's kind of nice that it's right there at the end of the month, so you could maybe really launch, sign new contracts as of the 1st of June, which is kind of nice, right? But then look at what has happened. So this is the really, really exciting thing, you guys. This is what makes this Mercury retrograde really unique, is that Jupiter enters Taurus and then starts to walk through the degrees that Mercury just went through. This starts, Jupiter enters Taurus on May 16th. When Jupiter enters Taurus, he's right at the North Node. You guys, this is insane. Jupiter is a magnifier. Jupiter makes things larger than life. He blows them up. He helps them blossom. He opens doors. He brings in abundance. Jupiter is a benefic. And in Taurus, this is like a very indulgent energy. This is what we want to see. We want some financial indulgence in the field right now. We want Jupiter to bring that in and help those floodgates open. So Jupiter is going to come into that North Node and make his exact conjunction right there. Right there at the end of the month, right when Mercury exits post-shadow. That's so perfect. Right there, May 30th, Jupiter hits the North Node. So what I love about this is that Mercury, which is our mind, our thoughts, he walks his way through Taurus, and he's sort of going, how can I make this area better? What can I move around? What can I revise to bring in this better North Node reality? Then he goes retrograde. He gives us time to really revise and reconsider things. Then Mercury goes direct, walks his way back through, and then Jupiter comes and magnifies all of those revisions and brings in the opportunity. I mean, could you really ask for anything better? Not really. It's kind of the dream team in a lot of ways. I'm not saying that there's not going to be other intense things going on. For God's sakes, we do have Pluto square the nodes. You know that I'm not Pollyanna. I don't wear rose-colored glasses with this shit. But I am saying that this Mercury retrograde is not easy because we are dealing with Scorpio here, but has a lot of potential. So please, please, please use this one. Don't sleep on it. Write those dates down. Know, for the love of God, where this is hitting your chart, right? We always want to do that. And have fun with it. And then when Jupiter comes May 30th to frickin', so exciting. Like first week of June, last week of May, we're going to be in Jupiter North Node energies, but particularly right around the 1st of June. That's going to be massive. Get ready for your life to change. Seriously, get ready for the lives of everyone around you to change. I'm going to say it. You heard it here. I would not be surprised if there was some crazy ass financial themes in the world economically. Who knows? This might be the introduction of digital currency. Crypto people out there, this could be, I don't know, could be a massive fluctuation in the market, hopefully for the positive. I would say more likely positive. Yeah, gonna be a big time. We are on quite the ride. I know a lot of you guys are doing a lot of healing work out there on yourself with this Chiron energy. I see you, I feel it, I'm doing it too. Thank you guys so much for tuning in. If you enjoyed this video, please do give it a like and a share. I really appreciate it. And if you would like to reach out to me for a reading, I am taking reading slots right now. Reach out to me at coyotestarastrology.com. All right, everyone. Thank you so much for tuning in and have a beautiful Libra full moon. Bye for now.